Hey, welcome to edX World and another video in the IGCSE Economics series. In this video, we're going to study about the price elasticity of demand. I hope you've already watched my video on demand, supply and market equilibrium and disequilibrium because all these concepts are related. If you have any doubts yet in those previous topics, I would suggest first watch those videos, then come back to this video. And after this, I will also put up price elasticity of supply. You have to watch all of these in continuation. Then only the concepts will make sense and then only you'll understand the concepts better. The links of the old videos will be there in the description box. You can watch them. So in this video, we will be studying about the meaning of price elasticity of demand, how to calculate the value of PED, the different types of elasticities of demand, the relationship between the PED and the total revenues of the business, the PED along a straight line demand curve. Yes, the PED along the straight line demand curve is not a very simple concept. You have to understand how is the PED differing along the different points of the same demand curve. The factors that affect the price elasticity of demand for a business and the uses of the price elasticity of demand. If the firm is aware about the PED of the consumer of the product, how can it use it in the business to its own benefit? So let's begin with the meaning of price elasticity of demand. Price elasticity of demand is the measure of degree of responsiveness of change in quantity demanded to change in price. If I have to put it in simple words, I would say if price is changing by a certain percentage, in response to that, how much or how big is the change in quantity demanded. In our video on demand, we studied about the law of demand. The law of demand stated that if the price is going up, the quantity demanded would go down and vice versa. It means the quantity demanded and price have an inverse relationship. They move in the opposite direction. The law of demand only spoke about the direction. It did not speak about the quantum of change. By how much will the quantity change if price is changing by a certain percentage? So that is measured by, or that is spoken by, the PED. So when there's a certain change in the price of a product, the quantity demanded might change by a greater percentage. In such cases, it is known as an elastic demand. Obviously, we will study that in detail later. And if the price is changed by a certain percentage, but quantity demanded might change by a lower percentage compared to the price, these products would be known as products with inelastic demand. We will study the different types of elasticities and also some examples of products that demonstrate elastic demand or inelastic demand. First, let us understand the formula for calculation of the PED value. The formula for PED is percentage change in quantity demanded divided by the percentage change in price. And how do we get the percentage change in quantity demanded? The change in quantity demanded, if quantity demanded has changed between two periods, the change divided by the old quantity demanded, the original quantity demanded, multiplied by 100. And same way, the change in price can be calculated as the change in price between two periods divided by the old price or the original price multiplied by 100. Obviously, to get the percentage, you will have to multiply by 100. And once we get these values, we can divide them to arrive at the PED. Again, law of demand states that quantity and price would move in the inverse direction. So one thing you have to keep in mind, whatever is the value of PED, it will always be a negative value. It can never be positive. So if you get a PED value of 1.5, it means it's always minus 1.5. Example we have here. The price of the product was $25 and consumers demanded 2,000 units of that product. When the price changed to $35, the consumers demanded only 1,000 units of it. So you can see the law of demand is applying here. Price has gone up, quantity demanded has gone down. But we need to find out whether the elasticity is high or elasticity is low, meaning the responsiveness of quantity demanded to changes in price, is it high or is it low? For that, we need to calculate the value of PED. And for that, we need the percentage change in quantity demanded and the percentage change in price. So first, let us calculate the percentage change in quantity demanded. I told you the formula is the difference in quantity, which is 1000 units here, divided by the original quantity, which is 2000 units, multiplied by 100. So we get a 50% change in quantity demanded. Same way, percentage change in price, the change in price is $10, 35 minus 25, and the original price is $25 multiplied by 100, 40%. Now let us calculate the value of PED. So percentage change in quantity demanded was 50%, but since the quantity is going down, I will write minus 50%, and the change in price is 40%. Since price is going up, I will keep that as positive. Ultimately, I will get minus 1.25 as the PED value. How do we interpret this value? We will see in the later slides. But I hope the calculation of PED value is clear. Different types of elasticities we will be discussing now. The elasticities could range from extremely inelastic to extremely elastic. So we will start with the extremely inelastic demand of products, which is known as the perfectly inelastic demand. Think about it logically. What do you mean by perfectly inelastic demand? If you take an example of a rubber band, an inelastic rubber band means whatever force you apply, the rubber band will not expand or will not move. It will stay in its original position. Same way, we can apply that concept here in the perfectly inelastic demand. Whatever change in price, so price will be the force here. Whatever is the change in price, there is no change in quantity demanded by the consumer. They are still demanding the original quantity. So there is no elasticity in the quantity demanded. So the definition of a perfectly inelastic demand would be whatever is the change in price, there is no change in quantity demanded. At any price, any given market price, the quantity demanded is always the same. If I have to show this on the graph, this would be my graph for a perfectly inelastic demand curve. The y-axis will obviously be price and x-axis quantity demanded that we've seen in our demand lesson. The demand curve is a vertical line because no matter what the price is, if the current price is P, the quantity demanded is Q. If the price goes up to P1, consumers are still demanding Q. If the price goes down to P2, consumers are still demanding Q. So this is an example, or this is a graph that would represent a perfectly inelastic demand for a product. So I've already told you the meaning, no change in quantity demanded for any change in price. The value of PED will always be 0 here. That is also logical because if you see the formula for PED, percentage change in quantity upon percentage change in price. And we've already seen the change in quantity is 0. So that makes the numerator in the PED formula 0, and ultimately the PED value is also 0. The shape of the graph is a vertical line. Example of products that show such elasticity would be life-saving drugs. No matter what is the price, people still need to buy those products, so they demand the same quantity no matter price increases or price decreases. Next, going further, we will try to increase the elasticity of a product a bit. In the previous example, elasticity was completely 0. There was no change in quantity demanded, no matter what is the change in price. But here, there will be a slight change in quantity demanded compared to the change in price of the product. So, imagine this as a rubber band with little elasticity. You applying a lot of force on it, but the expansion of the rubber band is not as much as the force that is being applied on it. So here the force would be the price. The price is changing by a lot, but the change in quantity demanded is very less. The consumers are relatively rigid here. They are not changing their quantity consumption compared to the changes in price. If I have to show this on a graph, obviously this would be a downward sloping curve. We've already seen that in the demand chapter. Demand curves are downward sloping. But if you see the shape of the demand curve, it is relatively steep. And the inelasticity concept is also very clear from the diagram. See, original price is P and the original quantity is Q. Prices increased from P to P1. The gap you can see is quite a bit. But compare that to the gap in the change in quantity. The price moved from Q to Q1 only by very less percentage. So this is inelasticity. And same way, if price went down from P to P2, the change in quantity or the increase in quantity is a very small percentage from Q to Q2. So this explains that this particular product is an inelastic product or a product with inelastic demand. Again, meaning a very small change in quantity demanded for any change in price. The value of PED will obviously be less than 1. Why? Because if you see the formula for PED, percentage change in quantity upon percentage change in price, and for such products the change in quantity will be obviously less than the change in price, the percentage. So the numerator will always be lower than the denominator, and hence this value of PED for such products will always be less than 1. Shape of the graph is a steep downward sloping curve. Examples of such products are necessities, because these are products that we have to buy. Even if the price increases, we will still try to buy whatever is needed in our daily life. And even if the price falls, we don't go and buy a lot of it. We just buy what is needed for our daily survival, like food, shelter, etc. Then we have the unit elastic demand. The concept of unit elastic demand is that whatever is the change in price, percentage change in price, there is exactly same percentage change in quantity demanded. Obviously, products that show exactly unit elastic demand, it is very difficult to find such products in real life. The shape of a unit elastic demand product is a rectangular hyperbola. You cannot draw a straight line demand curve to show unit elastic demand. The reason for this we will study in the later slides. For now, just understand that the shape of a unit elastic demand product is a rectangular hyperbola. If you see, the percentage change in price is almost equal to the percentage change in quantity. There might be a slight difference here. It doesn't seem exactly equal because the way the graph, I've drawn the graph slightly out of proportion. But otherwise, the change in price has to be equal to the change in quantity. In fact, the percentage change in price has to be equal to the percentage change in quantity. Meaning, similar change in quantity demanded for any change in price. And the value of PED has to be 1 because the numerator, which is the percentage change in quantity demanded, is equal to the percentage change in price, the denominator. So the value of PED has to be 1. The shape of the graph is a rectangular hyperbola. Please keep this in mind. Example, I told you it is very difficult to find products in real life that demonstrate exactly value of PED equal to 1. Then we have the elastic demand. Now a rubber band wherein slight force is applied, but the rubber band expands by a great percentage or by a great margin. So there are some products wherein if there's a slight change in the price, which is the force on the product, the effect on the product is much higher compared to the change in price, and such products are known to have elastic demand. If I have to show you on the graph, the demand curve is obviously downward sloping but relatively flatter. Our inelastic demand was relatively steeper. Elastic demand curve is relatively flatter. Original price P, original quantity Q. The price increased by a certain percentage from P to P1. See the change in quantity. It is a lot when compared to the change in price. Same way, price fell from P to P2. It is expected as per law of demand that quantity would increase. But see the change in quantity. Compared to the price, the change in quantity is a lot. Meaning of elastic demand, there's a greater percentage change in quantity demanded for any change in price. Value of PED is more than 1. I hope you get the logic now. We use the formula to determine how much would be the value. Since the numerator would be greater than the denominator, value of PED has to be more than 1. Shape of the graph is a flat downwards, not a flat, a flatter, relatively flatter downward sloping curve. Examples of such products are luxury products. These are products which we don't need for our daily survival, but we buy them because we have that extra income. When we see that the producer is charging or is increasing the price, we tend to buy lower quantities of these products because there might be alternatives available in the market for such products, and we prefer to buy these products from producers or from suppliers who are charging us relatively lower price. So you would notice for such products that if the producer changes the price even by a small percentage, consumers quickly shift away from such products. And this is the reason also why producers or suppliers are always keen on offering discounts on luxury products. You will see discounts are always offered on luxury products or products for which there is a lot of competition in the market compared to products which are necessities, or if there is no competition in the market, producers wouldn't be willing to offer you discounts for such products. And finally, we have the perfectly elastic demand curve. Imagine a rubber band wherein you apply a very slight force and the rubber band breaks because the rubber band doesn't have the capacity to withstand that force. Same way, for some products, if the producer starts increasing the price even by a very slight percentage, consumers will not buy that product at all. They are willing to buy any quantity of the product at a certain price, but as the price increases, they're not interested in buying any quantity. They will buy zero quantity. So if we have to explain this on a graph, the demand curve would be a horizontal line. At price P, the quantity is Q. The moment the producer increases the price from P to P1, you would see that there is no quantity demanded. This is the price line, but at this price line, you cannot see any quantity that the consumer is interested in buying. The quantity demanded becomes zero. Now another question, what if the producer starts charging lower prices? If the producer decreases the price from P to P2, see, for such products, the margin or the profit margin is anyways very low. No producer would be willing to accept price lower than P, because the moment they charge lower than the price P, they will start making losses and they're not interested in selling to the consumer anyway. So the producers in such market will always be charging price P and consumers would be willing to buy any quantity at that price. So zero quantity demanded for even a slight change in price. The value of PED for such products will be infinite because the quantity demanded drops to zero for even a slight change in price. The shape of the graph will be a horizontal curve, horizontal demand curve. An example of such products would be currency notes. See, we may not have products in real life that demonstrate exactly the perfectly elastic demand. But yes, currency notes, it doesn't matter if we buy from either of the suppliers in the market, the currency notes that we get are exactly the same. So why will the consumer be willing to pay even a slightly higher price to any supplier? The moment the supplier increases the price even by a very small margin, consumers will quickly shift away to the other suppliers and the quantity demanded for that supplier becomes zero. Let's summarize all the different types of elasticities using a line. Towards the left, we will have lower elasticities, and towards the right, we will have higher elasticities. On the extreme sides, towards the left, we have perfectly inelastic demand, and on the right, we have perfectly elastic demand. In the center, we have unit elastic demand, meaning exactly same change in quantity demanded for a given change in price. And real life situations, we have either products can have elastic demand or the products can have inelastic demand. Now let's understand the relationship between the price elasticity of demand and the total revenues of the firm. There's a very interesting relationship between the two. First, what do you mean by total revenues? Revenue refers to the total sales of the firm, which is equal to quantity demanded multiplied by the price they are charging for the product. So this table would summarize for you the relationship between the PED and the total revenues, but do not get confused here. I will explain each part in a very simple language. Let's understand for inelastic demand first. Now, assuming that the producer is increasing the price of the product by 20%, law of demand states that the quantity demanded has to go down, and since the product is showing inelastic demand, the percentage change in quantity has to be less than 20%. So let's assume that the change in quantity is negative, going down by 10%, just an assumption. We've already seen the revenue equals to price into quantity. So let's say the original revenue was original price P multiplied by original quantity Q and PQ. What would happen to the revenue in case of this change? The prices have increased by 20% and the quantity has decreased by 10%. So the P is going up by 20% multiplied by Q going down by 10%. It is obvious that the net change in revenue will be positive because one of the elements of the formula is increasing by 20% and the other element is decreasing just by 10%, the net change will obviously be positive, and hence the overall revenues of the firm will increase whenever there is an increase in price for a product with inelastic demand. Same way, if for the same product prices are decreased by certain percentage, the change in revenue will be negative. What do we understand by this? It means for products with inelastic demand, the prices and the revenues show a direct relationship. If the producer increases the price, he would see the revenues going up. If the producer decreases the price, he would see revenues going down. Examples of such products could be tobacco, alcohol, or any other product with an addictive nature, or products that are necessities that people have to buy. In such cases, producers can increase by their overall revenue by increasing the price of the product. In such cases, producers will never try to decrease the price of the product because they know that they will lose out on the total revenues if they decrease their price. Let's have a look at the elastic demand products. Let's say for such products, the producer decides to increase the price by 20%. Since the products have elastic demand, the quantity demanded will have to decrease by a greater percentage, and hence quantity demanded fell by 40%. Now, see, the price is going up by 20%, but the other element of the total revenue, which is quantity, that's going down by 40%. Think for yourself, what would happen to the total revenues? Obviously, it will go down. The change in total revenue will be negative. So what does this tell us for products with elastic demand? The price and the total revenues have an inverse relationship whenever products have elastic demand. So if a producer wants to ultimately increase the total revenues, the producer will have to offer discounts and decrease the price of the product. Then only the total revenues will go up. So price and revenues have an inverse relationship for products with elastic demand. For unit elastic, the percentage change in price and percentage change in quantity are the same. The directions are opposite. So obviously the change in total revenue will be zero. Prices going up or down by a certain percentage, the other element moving in the opposite direction by the same percentage, ultimate change in price will obviously be zero, and hence the firm or the producer sees no change in total revenues for products with unit elastic demand. So I hope the concept is clear. This concept is important from MCQ's point of view. You can expect MCQs on this concept. Then we need to understand the elasticities for a straight line demand curve. The elasticity of a product differs or changes as the consumer moves on a straight line demand curve. So you will not find constant elasticities for a product on a straight line demand curve. The elasticity keeps on changing on different points. How do you calculate the value of PED here? The segment of the curve below the point where the consumer is right now divided by the segment of the curve above the point. So let's say we have a straight line demand curve here. The elasticities would be demonstrated on different points. The first point is where the demand curve is meeting the y-axis. At this point, the elasticity would be infinite. In other words, perfectly elastic demand curve. Then at the other extreme end, where the demand curve is meeting the x-axis, the elasticity would be 0, which is perfectly inelastic demand curve. The center of the demand curve would be unit elastic, PED is 1. The gap between the infinite elasticity and unit elasticity, you will have elastic demand, and on the other side, the gap between the unit elastic and the perfectly inelastic demand, you will have inelastic demand. So this is the same product showing different elasticities depending on what point the consumer is at currently. It is not important to understand detailed concepts. Why is the elasticity changing over the straight line demand curve? At this stage, it's not important. You could directly remember this diagram. You have to just know the different elasticities at different points on the straight line demand curve. Again, this is important from multiple choice questions point of view, but I will still try to give you a logic so that it is easier for you to remember. Let's say we have two situations. First, a consumer is moving from point A to B, and then the consumer is moving from point C to D. The change in price when the consumer moves from A to B is, let's say, X, a certain value, and for that change in price, the change in quantity is Y, again a certain value, just assuming. When the consumer is moving from C to D, let's say the change in price is again X, that's an assumption. Since it's a straight line demand curve with a constant slope, the change in quantity demanded will also have to be Y here. Try to calculate the PED values at point A and C. See, the formula for PED is percentage change in quantity upon percentage change in price. And percentage change in quantity is obviously the change in quantity divided by quantity. Everything divided by change in price upon original price. If I simplify this further, we get change in quantity divided by quantity multiplied by original price divided by change in price. The denominator is inversed when you multiply the two variables. Now try to put in the values. The change in quantity and change in price at both points A and C are same, X, Y, X, Y. But what about the old quantity and old price? Now compare the values of old quantity and old price in this formula. At point A compared to point C, you will see that the old quantity is obviously lower because it is on the left of the x-axis, whereas the price on point A compared to point C will be higher because it is at a higher value on the y-axis. So now if you try to calculate the PED value with the same change quantity and change in price XY at both points A and C, but the original quantity and original price at both points are different. At point A, Q is lower, P is higher, but at point C, Q is higher, P is lower. You will get higher PED value for the segment of the demand curve above PED equals to 1, and you will get lower PED value for the segment of the demand curve below PED equals to 1. And that's why PED values differ at different points along the straight line demand curve. Hence, if you remember in unit elastic demand curve, we drew a rectangular hyperbola. Whenever you draw a straight line demand curve, you can never have PED equals to 1 at all points on the demand curve. Why is it that different products have different elasticities? We've seen so many types of elasticities. Why is it that different products show different elasticities? There are some factors that affect the PED value of a product. Let's look at these factors one by one. First is the nature of commodity. A commodity could be a luxury product or a necessity product. Obviously, necessities product have to be consumed no matter what. So, change in price will not lead to that much effect on the change in quantity, but luxury products are not needed for survival, for day-to-day survival. So, if the price increases, price changes, we tend to buy lower quantities of those products, whereas if the price falls, we are inclined to buy more of those products because everyone loves to use luxury products. We love to enjoy the luxury products. So when it becomes cheaper, we want to buy more of it. The moment it becomes expensive, we're not interested in buying because not needed for daily survival. Availability of substitutes. If a product or a brand has a lot of substitutes in the market, the moment prices for such products change, we can quickly shift to the substitutes, to the competitor's product. And hence, when high substitutes are there, there is higher elasticity. The products for which there are lower substitutes available in the market, we don't have much option. The price increases. We still have to keep on buying the same product, not for all consumers, but for a majority of the consumers in the market. Then it also depends on what proportion of income is being spent on a product. For example, if you take a needle, see, when you're buying a needle, what proportion of your income are you spending to buy that needle? Very minute. So even if the price of the needle doubles, you're not going to take effort to look for substitutes of that product. You will just pay for the product, save time, because it doesn't matter to that extent. But what if you're spending a very high proportion of your income on a product? Like branded products, you're spending a good proportion of your income on buying them. So you would want to look for alternatives if the prices of the product increase. Habits and addiction. if a product is such that it is habit forming, it is addictive in nature, no matter the price increases, the consumers still want to buy that because they're addicted to it. But if a product is not of addictive nature, it's non-addictive, prices increase, consumers can quickly cut down on consumption. And then it also depends on how much time does the consumer have to look for alternatives. If a product is needed urgently, no matter the producer charges higher price, consumers will still buy it. In the short run, there is inelastic demand. But if the consumers have time and they can postpone their consumption, the moment producers start charging higher prices, they will postpone their consumption, look for alternatives, because in the long run, demand will be elastic. And finally, cost of switching. If I'm switching from an expensive product to a cheaper product, which is obvious, what is the cost of switching? Is the savings in price lower or higher than the cost of switching? If the cost of switching is too high, I wouldn't shift to alternatives. I will keep on buying the same product no matter what is the price being charged, higher prices being charged. So when cost of switching is high, the demand is inelastic. But when the cost of switching is low, I would quickly shift away to alternatives and hence demand will be elastic. Finally, what can the firm do if it is aware of the price elasticity of demand? Very important. Every producer should know or should be aware about the PED values for their products because it helps in pricing decisions. We've already seen the relationship between prices and revenues. How do they change for different elasticities? So if a producer knows that the demand is elastic, they can increase their revenues by offering discounts. But if the producer knows that the consumer's demand is inelastic for their products, they don't need to offer discounts to increase their revenues. In fact, they will keep on increasing the prices to increase their total revenues. The firm can successfully implement price discrimination if they are aware of the PED for different category of consumers. For the same product, producers might have consumers which have elastic demand, and there may be another category of consumers who might have inelastic demand. So firm can charge higher prices to consumers with inelastic demand, whereas lower prices to the consumers with elastic demand. The best example of this is airline tickets. The airline companies know that consumers who want to fly urgently will have inelastic demand. When the travel date is near the booking date, the airline companies know that there is urgency in travel, so they will be charging higher prices because demand is inelastic. Whereas if the travel date is not near the booking date, there is gap, the travel company or the airline companies know that the consumers might have time to look for alternatives. They will look for cheaper prices. So the airline companies would want to offer cheaper prices to increase their revenues. Proportion of tax burden to be shifted to consumers. See, government might charge indirect taxes on certain products. Now the producer here has to decide what proportion of the tax has to be shifted onto the consumer and what proportion of tax has to be borne by the producer himself. If the demand is inelastic, the producer can successfully transfer major proportion of the tax burden to the consumers. But if the demand is elastic, there are a lot of competitors in the market. The producers cannot conveniently shift the burden of tax onto the consumers and might have to absorb a major proportion of the tax burden. And finally, the effect of exchange rate fluctuations on demand for the product. Exchange rate fluctuations are applicable for export products because exchange rate fluctuations change the final price the buyer in the foreign country is paying for our product. If the product has an inelastic demand, the producer need not worry about exchange rate fluctuations because even if the prices increase for the foreign buyer, they will not shift away from the product. But if the product has elastic demand, then the producer will have to continuously monitor exchange rates and see that the foreign buyer is still interested in our products, or is the foreign buyer being able to find cheaper sources from other countries, cheaper suppliers from other countries. And accordingly, the producer might have to offer discounts to foreign buyers if exchange rate fluctuations go against the foreign buyer. So this brings us to the end of the video, and all the concepts of PED that are there in the IGCSE syllabus have been covered here. I hope the concepts are clear. If you have any doubts, feel free to comment below. I will be very happy to clear your doubts in the description box. And do not forget to subscribe to the channel, press the bell icon. Very soon I'll be uploading a video on price elasticity of supply. If this video is clear, if you understood the concepts, that lesson should not be a problem at all. Thank you for being there. I'll see you soon.